Hello, this is my R House vlog, my fifth one. Um, and um, this was quite a productive week actually. We went through a couple of scenes that we wanted to work on and improve. Um, I wanted to go over personally. I wanted to go over Wings of a Dove. Um, we couldn't really work too much on it because we didn't have everyone there. Um, so we mainly worked on like how we feel about our characters and our characterization and how we need to animate our characters more. Um, and we went over the scene with Liam and Holly as Bad Joe when Joe and Mr. Preston meet for the first time, and that went quite well actually. I think one of the main things was trying to differentiate between Good Joe and Bad Joe. Um, I think it's quite hard flicking so quickly from one character to another. Um, but it wasn't bad. I need to learn my lines for this scene properly. Very what's the word? I keep there's only a couple of lines I slip up on, but still, it's all the more important to learn it. To learn it, get it completely drilled into my head, so I can think more about characterization and blocking and movements rather than lines. Um, I think we went over. I think the main bit is for that scene is when I go to the back and I'm saying there is one very small window that isn't alarmed and blah blah blah, all that stuff. And then it's when I'm walking towards the bar with Reese, I get that line mixed up quite a bit and it throws me off. Um, Me and Holly, we worked on our sort of chemistry in that scene. Even though there isn't much, we still just sort of worked how we play off each other, and that was some of the feedback we got. And also to make sure that the audience can see us both. Um, I think then Kerry made us go work on our characterization as that's me and Liam, and Liam was getting a lot more evil, which is what he needed to do, and I just needed to work a bit more on being Bad Joe. um, then we went over It Must Be Love. Me and Lucy did to see how it would work together, and Kerry blocked us, and she gave us extra things to do, like for example, sitting forward when Lucy sits back, and then when Lucy sits forward, I sit back. So we sort of have this awkward situation while doing It Must Be Love, which is what we want from it really, because we don't want it to feel like we don't want it to feel like we're star-crossed lovers or anything like that. We want it to be awkward and we want it to be just uncomfortable, but in a cute way. Um, and I think the scene it's got a lot of beauty behind it because obviously Joe loves Sarah, Sarah loves Joe, but they don't want to tell each other, but they kind of do at the same time, and it's a good scene. So Kerry's helping that a lot, and she's making it feel a lot more right. We went over what can I call it, the balcony scene as well. The balcony scene was yeah, that's kind of almost a pinnacle of Bad Joe's badness, um, where he basically just sort of just just disses his friends off. He disses his mum off. He just doesn't really care. He just cares about himself and he cares about how he is perceived a lot. Um, and I've got to really show that. So instead of being like quite quiet I've got to be really confident, like a real arse about it. So like for example, when Lewis says, um, "Oh yeah, we're going to take Mum round the birthday in a limo," and instead of being like, "Oh yeah, that's really good, thank you, that's really nice," it's more like, "Oh yeah, brilliant. Anyway, so what do you think of my house?" Um, and that's how that sort of works now because of the feedback we've got. I think I need to work on a couple of facial expressions a bit more on the balcony scene, um, which is one of my facial expressions is one of my big things, which I'm trying to get most of, because I can do it quite a bit like with gestures and physically and trying to animate my character more. I mean, I've still got quite a way to go, but facial expressions is my main one. We went on to do we did a full run through where we was trying to make sure everything was going swimmingly, for the whole first act, and then we ended up doing the whole thing, and it ran quite well. I slipped up a couple of times on a couple of lines and did get quite frustrated with myself, but other than that, it actually went really quite well. My quick changes, I did a couple. I didn't do it properly, but I did a couple just to sort of start changing my costume bits and bobs. It wasn't the actual costume that I've got; it was just changing a t-shirt. But yeah, that was going quite. That helped us see what it would be like a bit more on the show. And I need to constantly keep in the character of Good Joe or Bad Joe and try not to sort of merge them both together, which is quite hard to do. What else did we do? Well, we finished that run through of Act 1. We got some feedback saying what the good parts about the energy and how good everyone is getting now that we know our lines and such. And also I think the characterization needs to be a little more sharp. And then after that we went for a run through of Act 2, which again it went okay. It didn't go as well as it could have done. I was the first to admit, but that was due to me slipping up on a few lines and not fully knowing my blocking and where to go off. And then there was a couple of bits and bobs that went a little bit bad, but we soldiered on past them. And then the feedback was that what I've just mentioned. So we need to definitely work on them trouble scenes. The main trouble scene, personally, in Act 2, I do believe, is the House of Fun back in with Mr. Pressman and Julie on reception. Because of the amount of quick changes and stuff, I can't actually do them properly without my full costume. So we can't properly go over the scene, which is one of the trouble scenes which I'm worried about. So that definitely needs to be done. But vocally it's alright. We do need to sort out the pace of what we say stuff. But other than that, it's pretty good. I think we need to, as a group, work on the vocals for Wings of a Dove, because it isn't that great. But we just need to get more. I think we need to just go over bits and bobs with Jonathan in Wings of a Dove, just to make sure our harmonies are fine and where to come in, and just sort of the general stuff. But as a bigger picture, running Act 1 all the way to the end of Act 2 is quite a feat, considering we've got a few weeks left, and it's going really, really well. As a bigger picture, it's only nitpicking because we've got to nitpick to try and make it as professional standard as possible. Okay, so my action plan is still just go over lines, work on a couple of harmonies of a couple of songs which I'm worried about, which is One Better Day, Tomorrow's Just Another Day, Wings of a Dove. Then just try and experiment a little bit with my character of Bad Joe and Good Joe, and that's about it for this vlog. Thank you.